Oh my God, there's a rat. Oh, outside, there's a rat. Go away. Oh, he's going. Oh my God. He's not paying to be here. I've just finished one of my favorite things I love to do when I'm training someone, and that is the session we do with them in the submissive role. So I recommend all my trainee DOMs, whether they're professional or lifestyle, to switch positions at some point in our training and to do a session with me as the dominant and them as the submissive. It's so important, even if you don't intend on ever switching, to try the other role out. And it's for a number of reasons, but most importantly, you need to understand what you're inflicting on someone else. You need to know what kind of headspaces you might be guiding someone through. And it's really important that you get that perspective, that change of perspective. And for so many of my trainees, it's really a significant session. It's really something that often shifts their viewpoint on their dominance as well. So that's really fun. I love doing those sessions. Today's vlog, I'm stopping numbering them because I'm going to lose count and it doesn't matter. But what I wanted to talk about was different client types. Now, I'm not talking about my coaching or my trainees. I'm talking about my domination, in-person, professional sessions. So I have 3 different main client types that I talk about. And sometimes people get a little confused on what each one actually means. So today I'm going to go through it. So firstly, I have regular session clients is what I call them. Now, what defines a session client to me is not whether someone's a one-off or a regular. Most of my clients now are regular clients. I've had clients who are session clients for the last 7 years. So it's got nothing to do with like time with me or anything like that. But what it has to do with is our power dynamic and our power exchange only exists for that session length. So whether it's an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever, the power exchange between us exists only in that container. So in between sessions or when they leave here, we are not in a power dynamic. Communication normally is refrained to arranging the next session or a quick check-in post a session, but that's what I consider a session client. Now, another type of client I have is what I call a retainer client. So this is a client who pays me a monthly retainer, and we will have some sort of agreed frequency to how often we session. So that could be once a month, twice a month, something like that. But in between them coming to the sessions, I also engage with them on a weekly basis, and I send them like tasks. We'll have some protocols and rituals in, and we're usually working towards some sort of goal together. So how I kind of do it is on a Sunday at 5 p.m, they have to send me their weekly report, which is based on how they performed the prior week's tasks. And then based on that report, I then send them the new week tasks. And depending kind of what retainer they're on or what kind of things we're working towards, that might just be the touch point is on that Sunday, and then we touch point again the next week. Or some people I have a midweek touch point, or they have midweek check-ins or surprise tasks during the week, so we'll be in contact then. But it's based on that kind of structure. Then the last thing I have is a contract sub. And these are clients. I mean, they're more than clients. And I'll explain why. So what I'm entering into with these, they start off as clients, is a BDSM contract. Now, a BDSM contract is a very lengthy document outlining the power dynamic relationship you're entering in with the other person. A lot of my contracts I've entered into are around ownership. So in this contract, I then own them. Now, this is not a legal contract. Don't get worried. No one's taking them to court on these. These are just contracts, but we take them seriously. And as I said, they're very lengthy contracts because they have to define a lot of things. So they define things like power of control, What areas of their life am I responsible for? What are their responsibilities in the dynamic? What's our communication methodology? How often do we communicate? How do we communicate? Are they allowed to, as the submissive, initiate contact? Or must it always be me? Or what are the circumstances that they initiate contact? And la-di-da-di-da, you can kind of get the idea. They can be things that are quite simple to things that are extremely complex. But it's important that things are really negotiated quite specifically, because you don't want to leave room for assumption in these things. You want both parties to know what's expected of each other. It's very important. Now, I don't enter into these contracts very often. I have people on retainer, the retainer subs, that I am in a ongoing dynamic with, but it's not the level of a contract sub. And as I said, I don't enter into them very often. I've entered into a new one recently, and I've seen him for the last couple of years as a client, and then now we've taken a step further. And the reason why I don't really enter in that often is because I have to be quite intrigued and interested by you. And we have to also kind of, I mean, it's a relationship at the end of the day. Like you need to be able to fit together. And you're just not going to fit on that level with, I don't think, very many people. As I said, it becomes quite an intimate relationship. So I've got to know also that they're going to be just as committed as I am, because yes, I'm a professional. Even in contracts, you have a tribute. It does take a lot of my time, my energy. I'm thinking about it a lot. I'm engaging in the dynamic a lot. And so it's got to be something you enjoy to do. I've always said this, like with this career or this profession, you need to genuinely enjoy it. Otherwise, it will suck the life out of you, and it's not going to work. Clients aren't going to enjoy themselves with you because they'll be able to feel the energy is just completely off. So especially in contracts, you need to be 110% in it, because you're going to be engaging with this person on a very regular basis. You're also going to generally be working towards something. So I'll often ask them about their goals. Where do you see this in 3 months' time? Where do you see this in 6 months' time? What areas do you want to improve in your life? Things like that. So you're generally like working towards things. You're developing a relationship. Now, again, like in this kind of dynamic, I will be sending weekly tasks. There'll be protocols, there'll be rituals, and then, we'll also be seeing each other in the studio. We'll probably also have quite a lot of communication via, phone, video, voice message, things like that. Oh my God, there's a rat. Oh, outside, there's a rat. Go away. Oh, he's going. Oh my God. He's not paying to be here. So with the contract sub, also, you don't just enter into a contract and own someone for an infinite amount of time. You will start off in a trial contract. So for example, with this new submissive I've entered into contract with, he was traveling while we were doing the negotiation. The first document I sent him to fill in, and this is someone I have known, was 28 pages long. Like, these are not things you enter in willy-nilly. They are detailed, they are serious. It was 28 pages long. We went back and forth a bit, and now we have a draft contract, which we are trialing for 1 month. After that 1 month, we will then have a review of it and understand what's working, what might need to change, anything we want to update to it, anything we want to take out, anything we want to add into it. And then we will then set the next proper contract, and we both sign these contracts. Normally I would then do a 3 months, have another review, then do 6 months, have another review, etc., etc. Now, just because you have a time period for the next review or when that contract is up for renewal, does not mean that either of you are bound to it during that whole time. Either one of you can give notice and say, this isn't working for me for whatever reason, I wish to exit that contract. So it's not like you're bound to it for whatever you sign up to. You can get out of them. Everything is consensual in this world, as I've mentioned before. No one's forcing you to do anything that you don't want to anymore. So that's what a contract client is. Now, apart from that, I just want to mention that You do not just have to do in-person sessions. You probably notice that I'm quite an in-person session person. I do things online, but it's normally in between sessions that I'm not with that client geography-wise, that we're not in the same place, but I probably would see them in the studio at some point. I have got clients who have never seen me in person and it is purely online. But normally there's more defined parameters, there's particular goals that they're working toward. But I must admit, I'm an in-person kind of Dom. It is a lot harder. And yes, I know there are plenty of Doms who do practically their whole business online. But I personally find it a lot harder to Dom online than in person, for the reason being, in person, I am constantly scanning someone's breath, someone's body, someone's eyes, someone's energy, and I'm attuning to it. I'm following it. I'm able to adapt the scene based on responses I'm getting in real time. Yes, I go into scenes with an idea based off previous negotiation, based on our history together. I might even sometimes have a loose script that I'm going to be using, but it's loose. I respond to what's happening in the room. If something's changing, if something's not landing, I can see it, I can feel it, and I adapt. Online, that's a lot harder to do. It's much harder to read someone's breath. It's much harder to see someone's slight body movements. As a dominant, you are constantly scanning for cues to give you information. And that is a lot harder in an online dynamic. It's not impossible, but it is a lot harder. So yes, you can choose whether you're going to do in sessions or online, or as I do, most of a mix. But just be aware that the online environment, you need to set a bit more, I think, guidelines and structure on how you're going to be reading each other when it is limited. So anyway, I hope everyone enjoyed that, and it kind of gave you a bit of an insight into different kind of client types you might not be aware of in this world. And I hope everyone is having a lovely start to their week. As always, stay kinky.